All right, tell your mom, tell your dad, it's time for SoCal Saturdays. Louie Rabaut, Barry Spears hanging out with you for the next however long it takes us to get through 11 races here. We go through the card every single week right here in this spot. We'd love to have you as a regular on this program. We're always presented by Amwager, amwager.com, amwager.com. A 100% deposit match awaits you up to $150. Man, they deliver that speed, power, top tier features that you are looking for. A platform designed for horse players by horse players. Go check them out at amwager.com. Barry, good afternoon to you. You and I already talked Saratoga this morning on the radio, so it is time to turn to the other spot this week that has a grade 1, and that is Del Mar. The Hirsch will be an interesting one. We'll talk about that in a race 10. But this card overall, Barry, I thought there were some chances to take some shots. Unmute yourself. There we go.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. There's certainly a ton of opportunities to take shots. It's just a matter of where you take them and if you're right or wrong.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We will have Barry's boring play of the day later on in the card, but we will start with race 1. I'm doubting there's a boring play in here. Made special weight. We have 2-year-old fillies sprinting on the grass here. We're going 5 furlongs for $80,000. They're at Del Mar. Barry, my sense, no boring pick from you in this one.
No, definitely not. We're going deep here. We're throwing one downfield. I picked number 8, Salty Sis on top for Jeff Mullins, who does good work first time starters. This horse I don't think is any exception. I like the 5 furlong works that this horse has. Back in June, they were pretty good in comparison to the rest. There's some precociousness in the pedigree, so I'll take that at 12-1. I really couldn't resist. I had to take a shot first out the box.
This is an interesting field just because 2-year-olds, like at Saratoga, Ellis Park right now in the New York and Kentucky circuits, Del Mar, early 2-year-old races. This isn't, Keeneland in the spring for sure, but it is early on with this. So if you wanted to take shots, these are the exact kinds of races. I mean, if you look at the 9 Copper Luna on the outside, you don't have to love this horse or the pedigree or whatever, but this is $100,000, daughter of practical joke. Bullet out of the gate the other day. Serafine Cormona already has a couple of wins at Del Mar this spring, and all he's got to do is get this one out of the gate and run. And if that horse wins here, Barry, I'm not surprised, right? And I think it's that kind of field for sure. I did land on the 3 in this one. In South Bay, a first-timer for Tim Yaktine. Ricardo Gonzalez going to get them out here. This one's been working, and expressly from the gate the last couple of works. Very, very well from the gate as well in the ahead of this one, excuse me. I mean, that is 4 straight gate works by this one, including a 34-3 out of the gate first time working in that kind of conditions. I get Hector Barrios here too, who I love at a sprint. And so I'll take the 3 on top here, that 4-1 price. Good enough for me, at least in this field as well. You landed on the 6 in the second spot, leading rider. He's actually one behind now, but Antonio Fresu gets them out here with Radiant View.
Yeah, Radiant View is one of the few in here that kind of has a pedigree that should be able to take to the dirt a little bit. I found there was quite a bit of turf horses, or what appeared to be turf horses in here, but we'll see. I thought this horse merited, kind of rated a better chance than most because of the fact that this horse has a few workouts on the synthetic at Santa Anita. Yep. That'll help on the turf, I think, but like I said, this is a really tough race to start out the whole card because it's really a crapshoot. I mean, if you see something you like, I would suggest you play it. No matter what the price is.
I'm going to try a different one, and that's the 1 Jewels here, and I've got 2 reasons. Second time start, but this is one that just ran the other day. Ran 4th up the track a little bit in a 5 furlonger there at Del Mar, but it was on the dirt. We're switching surfaces here with Peter Miller. I never think of it as an accident when trainers run their horses back on this short a rest, Barry. To me, it means they're ready. They're ready for this condition, whatever it is. And so Jules at 8-1 is really, really interesting to me on the inside there. A couple of really nice works from the gate at San Luis Rey before last time. I don't think did a single thing in that maiden 150 to discourage me from betting on that horse in this kind of company. So I landed 3-1 in this one. I've also got the 7 in my handicapping here. You and I are very different on this race, but Hypergamy is the 7 here. Juan Hernandez picks up the mount for Doug O'Neill. This is essentially just based on O'Neill's 19% with 2-year-old, 17% with first timers. That's essentially what this is. And of course, nothing wrong with getting Juan Hernandez on a mount in Southern California. You also have the 4 in your handicapping here, first timer in Miss Donna.
Yeah, nothing really special about Miss Donna other than the fact that I like the sire Rushy,
Okay.
who was a nice one-turn animal, did a lot of running at Churchill on the dirt.
Yep.
Why not? I mean, Michael McCarthy is okay. I mean, he can get a horse to win first out. He doesn't really
Yes.
try to, I don't think.
Right.
But you don't know what you're getting here by anybody. So it wouldn't surprise me if Miss Donna runs well or doesn't. So this is going to be a really interesting race to start the card.
No doubt about it. I went 317. Barry went 864 to give you an idea of how wide open this one feels to open the card. That did start the early pick 5. Early pick 4 starts here. And the place pick all for the day starts here as well. If you've not tried that bet before, it is the last 10 races on this card for $1. All you got to do is pick the horses that finish in the top 2. Good luck with that. The second race is a 6 furlong sprint on the dirt there. It's a maiden 40. $34,000 purse here. We're 3 and up on the dirt track here, Bear. I'll go first in this one. I've only got 2 horses in my handicapping for this one. One is the number 5, Charlie Foxtrot in the spot, Amo Loscano for Mark Glad. This is one trying to get back on the dirt here, has been off since May. I like the little bit of time off here. That's a 24% angle for trainer Mark Glad. And look, maiden claimers, he lives in this territory. This is what he does. 19% winners his last 62 out. And he wins at 21% in sprints. So I think this is one where, and I haven't mentioned his 24% on dirt. So, I mean, this is just a spot I think makes a lot of sense. They've given this horse a little bit of time off since he got gelded right after that last race in March. So I think this is a spot where he'll be running really, really well. And then Veracruz on the inside, second time starter, was on the turf before for John Sadler, but he's totally fine making that switch at 17%. Hits and maiden claimers at 20% as well. And Hector Berrios, like I said, I'll take him in sprints all day long. And so give me 5-1 in this spot here, Barry. I know you laid out some different horses again here. You and I are either going to be real good or real bad in this early double.
Yeah, I ended up on number 3, Beneficial. This horse hasn't been out since December 16th, 2023. It's a long time. But when last seen, was running with good company in the maiden special weight ranks. Lost to Scatify on December 16th and lost to Wind Me Up, who's a decent horse, on September 2nd, 2023. Been off for a couple years. This field isn't the greatest I've ever seen at 40,000. The slight drop makes a lot of sense to get in a spot here as a 4-year-old. I think Beneficial has some speed. There doesn't look to be a whole ton of speed on paper. I think Mutt Dillon might try to get out there and maybe even the outside horse Kid Dynasty. But other than that, I think Beneficial might be the speed of the speed and take this field wire to wire.
It's an interesting one. And he's in for 40. He's in for the tag here, Barry. But my sense is they're assuming no one's going to take a shot at this horse, right? So he's essentially protected here. He can still start for 40. If he wins, he said all of a sudden, he's eligible for all the allowances at this level as well, right? So, I mean, this is a spot that makes a lot of sense for the 3-horse and Beneficial here. This is where I hope people appreciate this show and the fact that we showcase Barry Spears the way that we do on this show. Barry has Smiling Tizzy second in his handicapping here. And we're all going to sit back and listen to the mind of Spears. You know what? I need Mind of Spears. I need to make that banner as well. Mind of Spears is something everyone needs to try to understand because there is no understanding this. Take us inside the mind of Spears here in race 2.
I think the slight makeover package might do this horse a little bit of good. He wasn't really showing all that. He was running okay.
Yes, I agree.
At a higher level. Even when he dropped into maiden claiming, I mean, 80,000 really isn't a maiden claiming. Ran good going a mile twice.
Yes.
Even on the drop, which is a little concerning, but it seems like this might be the best level, and then getting to the dirt might be another angle to wake up. Again, not much in this race. I'm not too enthusiastic about a horse like Veracruz at all. And then everybody else is kind of mediocre. So this 2-horse Smiling Tizzy could wake up and kind of make an appearance. And I think it's very, very likely in a spot like this.
That was our weekly dive inside the mind of Spears.
Oof,
Thank you
it
for
gets
being with
dark
us
in there
here on
sometimes.
SoCal Saturdays. I believe you. I believe it gets very dark in there, in fact. So thank you for taking us inside of Mind of Spears. We move on to race 3 on the card here, an optional claimer. Go to mile and 3/8. What is this, the United Nations? Is Matt Dinnerman flying in to call this thing? You know what? Actually, he should. He's from San Diego. They should make that happen. This is an allowance optional claimer. 100K is the claim price, and $82,000 is the purse here. I will let you take a shot at this one, but a couple horses in here, Barry. I'm sure people will know if they follow West Coast, especially turf racing. Dicey Mochara and in the 7, Pax of Wallop, both coming out of Major Stakes Company to run in this one. I thought kind of a cool field for this race, Bear.
Oh yeah, this is a nice field of good runners going a distance that you know is kind of up for grabs.
I
And we
agree.
don't see a lot of these races, but we see enough of them where we can get a good gauge at who wants to go this distance, who doesn't. This race in particular, there doesn't seem to be a lot of speed, so I kind of gravitated to the 3 horses that I thought would kind of be forwardly placed.
Okay.
On top, I used the 5 Mondego, who I think is the speed of the speed. Should get the run of the race, getting to the lead, control the pace, and win this one. I really don't see how Pax a Wallop, who is probably going to be close, doesn't really want the lead. And that might hurt this horse rather than help, especially if they go slow enough where Mondego can kind of keep skipping along. And it's very possible. This horse was running good races in 2023, namely the Belmont Derby, a Grade 1 race, finished third in that one behind Farbridge, who's would be 1 to whatever in this
Oh,
spot.
billion. Right.
Um, so came back off the bench from a layoff since October 19th, 2024. Didn't run all that poorly, was kind of caught wide, gets better post relief, the whole 9. I like Mondego in this spot, obviously.
All right. The 5-horse Mondego in here. Big play for Barry. That was another episode of Mind of Spears. Appreciate that one as
Yeah,
well.
a little bonus,
Bonus Mind of
a little
Spears.
DVD extra.
I agree with you. I'm on a longer shot here, too. I think British Isles is really interesting in this spot. 1 at a mile and a half at Keeneland. 2 back before that. Tried the mile. And this is in every other type. Mile and an eighth at Santa Anita. 4 back on the 1st of March. Ran a really good second. 2 back. Ran a mile and a half at Keeneland and ended up winning that one. Hoping Drayden Van Dyke's got his timing ready for this one, because this is going to be a tough race because of what you talked about. But this is a horse that in all of his races wants to be just off the pace. So frankly, for a field and for a group like this in a mile and 3/8, I think he's set up really, really well to perform well in this spot as well. I really do wonder in this case if the 3 in here in Phosphorescence has a shot here, Barry. And this is going to be the longest this horse has ever run. He's 4 for 15 lifetime on the turf. Last time tried the American at a mile. And I just think for this horse, there's no chance that a mile is long enough. Last 2 wins have been at a mile and an eighth and a mile and a 16th. We're adding another bit of distance to that. But if you go through this horse's background, it just wants to plod along as far as you'll let it. And so I do think this son, this Geldon son, 5-year-old of City of Light, serious shots. So look, Barry, if I'm right here, it comes in, 6-3, that exact is going to pay something pretty significant. But I'm with you. I included the 7 in my handicapping here in Pax of Wallop. I know you have that horse second in yours. I think of the 2 major contenders here dropping out of Stakes Company, that's the one that I would lean on more. Dicey Mochar, I'm just not sure that horse wants to win anymore. And I hate to say that because he's a good runner and he's been doing it for years and 7 years old and 32 races, but only 4 wins in those. Doesn't have a win the last couple of years. I wonder if the time isn't up on him.
Yeah, I've seen enough of Dicey Mochar, unfortunately. And I'm almost getting there with Pax of Wallop. The horse just doesn't want to win all the time.
I'm with you.
And I think they're real vulnerable in this spot, both of them. So I can understand what you're doing here and into the mind of Louie getting in those long shots. But I thought Lamas had a good shot too. The 8
Okay, on the outside, yep.
Yeah, it ran some good races last year, and especially that one race, the Delmar Mile, was pretty good. Probably won't get the credit that horse actually deserves for that effort.
Right.
Finally gets back to the turf and running well. I think this is a good spot for this horse, especially off the claim.
Yeah, it's a horse that won the Bulldog at Fresno too. That's a mile and an eighth race going 3 turns. So hey, you never know. If you maybe get back to going the 3 turns here and getting extra distance will be good for Lamas on the outside there as well. Again, we're presented by Amwager. Barry Spears, Louie Rabaut hanging out with you. Another SoCal Saturday. We're at Del Mar for this one. The grade 1 Clement Hirsch is our feature. Amwager.com. Go check them out, especially for new customers. 100% deposit match right now, up to $150. Let us help you get your bankroll rolling ahead of Saturday at Del Mar. Bet all those tracks in Southern California with our friends at Amwager, live in California. Maiden 20 welcomes us in race 4. We're back on the dirt, 5.5 furlongs here. This is for fillies and mares that are 3 and up, $30,000 on the line in this one, Barry. I'll go first in race 4. I landed on what I think could be the single of the early part of the sequence, and that is the Kazushi Kimura piloted Perfect Smile. Comes in off of a very good finish in a maiden 20 at Santa Anita. Third time in the starting gate for this daughter of Matoli. I have high hopes. You talked about, who did you talk about in the first race that you liked as a Rushy, as a one-turn specialist? That's really how I feel about Matoli in general, but certainly in this case as well. So I'm going to lean on the 3, and I think, Barry, if I had to give out a single in the early pick 5, it might be her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who'd you land on here?
Well, I actually went the opposite way. I used the 6 on top, Pocket Venus, but I thought this actually was a contender for boring race of the day, but didn't get it. But I thought the 6 Pocket Venus might have some run here. A lot of these horses have turf pedigrees running on dirt, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they don't run really turf races at this level at Del Mar.
At Del Mar, that's right.
So you'll get these kind of races, and honestly, the only ones with sort of dirt pedigrees are the 2 that we landed on, Pocket Venus and Perfect Smile. I think they're going to run 1-2, maybe in opposite order like you have them, but they seem to stand out quite a bit here. And I like that workout for Pocket Venus on July 19th, 59 handling from the gate. Longest, fastest gate work closest to the race. You know how I love that angle, and Pocket Venus is it.
Lucky Nia on the outside, I think, has the fastest overall work coming into this race, 4 furlongs at 46 and change there. On that track at Del Mar, worth mentioning, but has been running in much lower competition than that. You had a third horse in here, in the 4 horse in Kiss Me Kato. I get it. Or were you just trying to find a third horse in this case, or do you think Kiss Me Kato's got a serious shot here?
Just trying to find a third horse other than, but you see how that horse is the third choice. So it should have been the boring race of the day, but it wasn't. You'll see why later.
Okay, there you go. I love it. All right. So race 5 will close out those early sequences, and it will start a little pick 3 in the middle of the card here. $25,000 claimer on the turf. We're going a mile, $31,000 up for grabs. And this is for 3-year-olds and up, not 2 lifers. Truly in this case, Mighty Kai on the inside is 7-2. Guy named Joe in the 6 hole coming off of a layoff. This is his second run in the current form cycle, will be 5-2. Barry, where'd you land in race 5?
Yeah, this was a tough race for me because everybody kind of looks the same. They're not all in great form. The ones that sort of are huge long shots, and the speed looks a little vulnerable here. So with that being said, I landed on number 9, Mongolian Altai. I think this horse has some races to go to on the dirt that would actually fit here. And then the turf races, there's much to be desired, but still running at a higher level. Right. This level kind of fits. I mean, you can see this horse ran at this level on the dirt back in March and ran pretty good, 32,000 non-winners of 2. Then stepped up to 50,000 starter allowance 50 and didn't do anything. Drops back in and runs competitively at this non-winners of 2 spot. I think this is where the horse belongs.
All right. You are going Mongolian on the outside. I will go. I think I have this one. Yeah, I'm going with one that was claimed out of the Mongolian stables there from Enebesh Ganbat by George Papaprodromou. Easy for me to say. Hawker. I'm going to take Hawker here. Getting back to the mile distance here. Stays on the turf here. Ran really well at 6 last out I think just a little bit more rating with this one, and this one will be just fine. Going the mile, has won it a mile and been in the money on the dirt, but not going that distance on the turf yet. And so this is what I'm watching for. I think Hawker offers just a little bit too much value for me to pass up at 5-1. A Son of Justify. Hopefully he'll start to put it together a little bit better than he has there in the past. But then I went to the one on the inside in Mighty Kai. Might be partly because there's a little kid in my neighborhood that I think is really freaking funny, and his name is Kai, and I call him King Kai, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Another one that's trying the turf here. But this is an angle for Victor Garcia that's not great, but I'm just looking for someone who's going to be near the front of the pace, and I think we're going to get that with Mighty Kai. We've seen this horse before, for example, in a 32 claimer at Santa Anita at the distance, finish a good second by only a length and 3/4. Just not a great field, Barry. So I'm kind of fishing here. 3, 1, and 6 for me on top. I know you went 9-3, so we agree on that one at least. But you've also got bid on the prize on your sheet here.
Yeah, I tried that horse. At least to finish third. Been running at better levels, on and off. And the last race wasn't that bad. I mean, it's hard to gauge because the horse goes turf to dirt to synthetic at one point a couple of years ago. So the races that this horse has run haven't been bad. They're actually very consistent. I don't really believe this horse can win because I think dead closers have no shot in this race. But I don't really think the speed is going to do too well either. That's pretty much why I didn't put Hawker on top. I thought there's a potential there for a little bit of a speed duel, and the 9 really kind of fits the description as far as what kind of the best trip of any of these horses are going to get.
I put a guy named Joe in the third spot, and it's largely just because he's run second at 3 times at Del Mar. Otherwise, it's just not. This one might be the thing that helps blow up the early pick 5. I mean, this might be the race.
It could
first
be.
race in this race, right? I mean, they really do stand out as go ahead and throw a dart. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we need some of those prices because I still like to believe that I am the no chalk zone. But
there you go. He
depends.
lies to himself. His name is Barry Spears. I'm Louie Rabaut. This is SoCal Saturdays. We're here every Friday. Preview of the card on Saturday, wherever it is in Southern California. Of course, right now we are at Del Mar. The $1 pick 6 starts here in race 6. This is a maiden special for 2-year-old fillies going 5.5 on the dirt, $100,000 on the line here. And Barry, the old no one's ever had a start kind of race here in race 6. So you and I, let's see if we got 2 of the same 3 in the top 3, which is great. I'll go first. I do have the Bob Baffert on top here. I've got Mistrial on top. She's looked good. Breaking freaking news. If he can win with $3 million horses, I trust that he can win $300,000 horses. But this is a daughter, of Constitution. Fed Biz. How about that on the damn side? This one's going to get bet to 1-50. Because this is my race horse, so just a heads up. I do think the horse wins here, but I'm not going to be betting it to win, Barry. So there you go. I'll have Mistrial on top here. You landed on the 2 horse. You're going to take a little bit of a shot with Grandma Mary.
Yeah, a lot of these horses seem to look like they want to go longer. Like Mistrial out of Constitution probably would want to go longer than 5.5. So I was kind of gearing my pick towards somebody I think might be a little bit precocious and might be able to slip one in before Mistrial or Bourbon and Ginger get good. So I landed on Grandma Mary. Those last 2 works at Del Mar were really, really good from the gate, especially the last one, 59-3, handily from the gate, 9 out of 74 on July 26th. That's really good in this spot. And why not? Maker Reese, bred this horse and kept this horse and didn't sell it, which kind of says a little bit. He's a pretty decent horseman. He's kind of in and out of the game, but he had a horse like Bolt de Oro, so he kind of knows what he's looking at. I'll give that one a shot at 8-1.
I've got that horse third in my handicapping. I totally agree with you. And the Mick Reese angle is really an interesting one for this. I know people are going to look at the form and see zeros everywhere, but I'm with you. This is not an accident that this horse is hung around in his barn, and her works, I mean, they look great. And if Ricardo Gonzalez can get this one going, and look, he's won 25% of his races. He's 3 for 12 early on at Del Mar. You give that guy a good horse, man. He's going to win a race for you. I went 6-3-2 here. Umbral is the other one that I'm using, a daughter of Into Mischief here. This is the Don Alberto folks, homebred for them. I just like the Sadler Frezu thing here. I think that Sadler with first timers is really, really good. And I think Antonio Frezu's he's not there yet, but he's at whatever level Umberto was at last year. And we're seeing Umberto up at Saratoga this year. I think whatever that level is, Antonio's right there. He's on the precipice. And so I'm going to be using him in a lot of picks the rest of the year in Southern California, because I just think riding title at Santa Anita, he's willing to do, the dirty work of being in lower level claimers and that kind of stuff so that he can get on the mounts like this and maiden specials, etc. So I really like him in here. So I went 6-3-2. You laid it 2, 4, and 6. What do you like about Bourbon and Ginger?
Another one with some good works. The 2 gate works that this horse had in June, on June 26th and then July 6th, were really, really good in comparison to the rest of these. Mandela's kind of sneaky,
yes,
with these sort of horses, because he might have something, or he might give them a race. It's really hard to tell because they have similar work patterns. But I like the way that he's kind of back and forth with this horse. He got him up to a 5 furlong work and then worked him 2 furlongs on the 31st. Yeah. So that's really interesting. And it seems like he's trying to trick the horse into running well, and he just might do it. I don't see why this horse wouldn't run well. Another one out of Bolt d'Oro, which, the 2 is as well. Why not? There's so many good trainers in this race that do well with horses early. This is really going to be interesting, and I'm really interested to see what happens after this race with a lot of these horses.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what's the next step for so many of them? And frankly, if you're out on the West Coast and you're Cheryl's debuting at Del Mar, you're thinking Breeders' Cup, right? I mean, you really are. So it's a time of year that all of those folks start to think about those things. Barry Spears, Louie Rabaut, hanging out with you. SoCal Saturdays, presented by our friends at Amwager, amwager.com. Go check them out right now for a 100% deposit match for new customers, up to $150 on the state bred side of things to start the late pick 5 out there as well. Been some nice pools. One guy, Barry, swept the pool in the pick 5 yesterday. Was it you?
No, I wish it was. If it was me, I'd probably be somewhere in France right now, just kind of hanging out.
Well, 450 G's just hanging out doing the thing. Yeah. That's right. But the late pick 5 does start here. It's a 5.5 furlong or 5 furlong, turf sprint here for Calbred maidens, 3 and up, $80,000 on the line in this one, Barry. And I'll go first here. You know what? I think we both have the same very, very boring play of the day. You know what? That's a bad job by me. It's time for the Barry Spears boring play of the day.
It is. This is terribly boring. I only saw 2 horses in this race, honestly, the 4 Jack Fish and the 3 Tiger Smiling. And then I threw in the 1 as a horse that probably could improve with a little makeover package, blinkers off, gelded. But honestly, Jack Fish looks to be the fastest horse and probably is, and will go wire to wire.
Son of Bodie Express. How about that? A 3-year-old gelded son of Bodie Express. That is Barry's boring play of the day here on SoCal Saturdays. We are at race 7 at Del Mar right now, the late pick 5 here. Tiger Smiling. I got to say this. I saw that name and I thought, what an arrogant name that is. Because every horse in California right now is by Smiling Tiger. So to call your horse Tiger Smiling, that is some ballsy stuff. And speaking of ballsy, he's gelded. So what we're doing, it's done forever. So you're taking it away. Oh, man. All right, but I do have Jack Fish on top here. I went to Little Raymond second. That Frezu guy again with Richard Baltus. Richard Baltus, not great first timers, but look at all those dots, bullets. Barry. Look at all those bullets down there at San Luis Rey. So it is largely that. I also don't hate the works from the gate. Horse seems ready to break and ready to go. So I will land and go with your boring pick as well. 4-7 for me here. You are 4 and 3 in race 7 to start the late pick 5 there at Del Mar. Go ahead.
I can't believe somebody didn't name their horse Tiger Smiling before this.
I'm messing with you now. I like it. You can't believe someone didn't do that. Welcome back into the mind of Spears.
Oh,
All right, so we go on.
dark in there.
It's so dark. All right, race 8. Let's keep it rolling. Late pick 4 does start here. We're talking about a dirt sprint here. $40,000 optional claimer with an $81,000 purse. We're going 6 furlongs on the dirt there for 3 and up. Essentially, a starter allowance for those who have never won above the $25,000 level. Lots of options in here, Barry. I'll let you go first here. We have 2 very similar horses. You have Awesome Rhythm on top here. I'd love to get that 6-1 price.
Yeah, this horse is running okay on the dirt.
Yeah.
I really don't know why they didn't try this move earlier, but here we are. Ran excellent, dropping in for 40, and I don't see why this horse can't pair up those numbers and win this again, win a similar race. I mean, Good with People is okay. First time off the claim for Glatt is going to take a lot of attention, but I think the post position kind of hurts this horse to be on the outside trying to get to the lead. There's a lot of speed in here, and I think Awesome Rhythm can kind of sit right off it. Doesn't need to be on the lead. You can see that in his race on March 14th at Santa Anita, kind of had that kind of trip. Even the last race at Los Al was similar to the trip that is probably needed to win this kind of race.
I'm interested they didn't throw him in for the tag. I think I kind of might have, because I doubt he's likely to get he's likely to get claimed for 40, and then you can restart that cycle. But maybe in Southern California, slightly different rules. But I agree. I've got Awesome Rhythm second in my handicapping. I did land on Southern Gentleman on the inside. Why are you passing on Southern Gentleman? Let's go there first.
Mostly because of the post position. It's okay. I tend to think that it's a bad business to draw the rail in a sprint, no matter where you're at, because you only have one way to go, and if you're not pedal to the metal, you're going to get shuffled back and have a hard time kind of circling horses depending on how much or how many horses are in the field. Combine that with the outside horse being super fast, and we got a party going on. Tapatio Leo might get involved. Grubauer should also get involved, and I think it just sets it up for a horse to come slightly off the pace.
I went 1, 5, and 4. Agree with you on Awesome Rhythm. The other Baffert in Firmus, I think that would be the real answer here, Barry, is if you wanted to try to get inside the mind of Baffert here, he put Firmus underneath Juan Hernandez, and he put in the 1-hole Southern Gentleman under Drayden Van Dyke. Now, to be fair, Drayden rode him to his initial win, right? So maybe it's that. Maybe he's just staying with the jock who got him there. And frankly, we've watched him ride Drayden in the Los Al Futurity, that kind of stuff, right? So it's not as though we haven't seen those two combined before. It's only 16 times, but they do run together. I just think that horse, if he runs this race, this Son of Matoli, is simply too good in this spot. But Firmus is an interesting one too. And what I love about this is a horse that they tried, I mean, frankly, early on the Derby Trail, the Iroquois last year, when he was in the Wayne Catalano barn. Shout out to the Catman, but tried him at Churchill over and over in optional claimer 100,000 kind of level. I think getting down into this level makes a lot of sense. And frankly, you can see it in these work patterns with Baffert trainees, which ones he thinks are going to get this distance. These are all 5 furlong workouts and just sort of incrementally moving the horse along. Hasn't run since November of 24th, but I do think off the claim, or not off the claim, but off the move of Barnes here and off this kind of time off, really, really good with Baffert in this spot. You've got the 6 horse in your handicapping as well. Wayne the Brain. Do you know anyone named Wayne the Brain?
Definitely not. Anybody that I know named Wayne is not the smartest person I've met.
All right, Mind of Spears, not Wayne the Brain. Why do you like Wayne the Brain?
Kind of the best of the rest. Yeah. Ran 2 pretty good races at Del Mar previously. Mark Glatt again is real stellar off layoffs like this. Gets the go-to rider in Kimura, so there might be something there. But a word about Firmus. If you look at that horse's who's got beat by this, or who this.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, Jonathan's Way Magnitude.
Owen Almighty, Giacoso, California Burrito was second in one of those races. I mean, all those horses are really, really good.
Stakes winners. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give Firmus a chance, and I think that 5-1 is not going to hold. This horse will probably be second choice, maybe even favored. But Really interesting to see what this horse is going to do, especially going from Catalano to Baffert. I don't know what we're going to get, but we'll see.
Yeah, that is a bit of a change there. The late pick 3 does start with the California Dreamin', $150,000 mile and a 16th race. It's a black type for California breds that are 3 and up. We're going on that little chute in the middle of the turf course there, Barry, at Del Mar. Allegato in here at 4-1 for Mark Glatt and Antonio Frezu. We've also got Coalinga Road in here, who we see often. But of course, at even money is Kings River Knight. My man, you're trying to beat Kings River Knight. Talk me into it.
Of course. There's a lot of speed in here. I mean, Kings River Knight is fast, but there's other horses in here. Mystic Spirit, outside of that one, which is interesting, is fast. Pure Madness, outside of Kings River Knight, is fast. Mr. Disrespectful obviously has to be fast. Miss Joe's Curlin is fast. Even if they don't get the lead, just pushing the pace that fast for a horse like Kings River Knight might do that horse in. And that's what I'm hoping for. I think Coalinga Road is the most likely horse to benefit from that in that kind of trip. Also, Coalinga Road likes Del Mar, has 2 of 5 wins or 2 of 4 wins there in 1 second. Came off the layoff January 18th to run a bang-up race in a similar spot. Kind of tailed off. I think the layoff helps. This horse should fire fresh. I like Coalinga Road at 8-1 here.
Coalinga Road, 8-1, does have Mirko de Muro in the irons there, looking for his second win of the meet. Impossible to imagine that guy only has 1 win so far in the meet. You've got Allegato in the second spot here, ran really well in the Turf Classic last out.
Yeah, it was really tough for me not to put Allegato on top.
Okay.
But I just think this horse is going to be farther back behind Coalinga Road, and Coalinga Road's just going to get the jump on the 2, and that I think might be the difference. This horse ran good behind Kings River Knight in the past, namely January 13th, 2024. Nice, third place finish, half length behind Kings River Knight. So if Kings River Knight kind of stubs his toe, which I'm betting on, I think Allegato is going to come running. And they did this sort of thing back in 2023 in the Turf Classic at Santa Anita, where Coalinga Road beat Allegato in a similar fashion, where Coalinga Road got the jump on him. And that's what I think is going to happen. So hopefully we can get a replay of that and get that exacta.
I've got Kings River Knight on top. I have Mr. Disrespectful, who finished second in the San Bertrando, second. And then my third is a longer shot. Pure Madness, the 10 horse here, 15-1. Tyler Bays gets the ride for Brian Corner. And this is a horse that's never been worse than second. And all of the races are made in special weights or state bred races. This one tried Stakes Company 3 back in the Real Good Deal at Del Mar. That was on the dirt. Did not fire that day. Finished second by 5 lengths behind Curlin's Chaos. Came back, tried the turf at a mile and a 16th. Looked awesome. Good fractions, all the stuff. Went back like a month later, wins on the dirt at Santa Anita going a mile. And we've been off since then. I don't love the layoff here, but Brian Corner is not putting this horse in this race unless he thinks it's got a serious shot. So I think, you love your cold exactas.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to try a cold try here. How about that?
Oh, that's
better. You do like that. I know. 9 and then 5 and then 10. That is going to be my cold try. And I'm going to hope that really what I'm trying to play is a 5-10 exacta behind Kings River Knight. So there you go. All right. So that was the second feature on the card here. Fun little race there in the Cal Dreamin'. We move on to the Clement Hirsch, of course, the grade 1 on the card out here. This is for fillies and mares that are 3 and up, a mile and a 16th on the dirt course there at Del Mar at $400,000 on the line. A pair of Bafferts at the top of the handicapping here. Barry Seismic Beauty, the 1, very likely the favorite. Rishi, who we've seen and talked about on this show numerous times, last seen winning the Santa Maria at Santa Anita in April. Also back in this one, and of course we see the return of Copian coming off of her defeat in the 6.5 furlong Great Lady M at Los Alamitos. Where did you land in here? What a race, man. What a fun field.
Yeah, I landed on Copian. I think that horse, just didn't get a great
I don't hate it.
trip, was kind of just chasing Sweet Azteca, who's razor sharp on July 5th when we were at Indianapolis. I just think I'm gonna forgive that race. Not that Copian ran bad or anything. I think this race just sets up way better. Second time off the layoff, this horse should be ready to roll, and I think will.
You and I have two horses in our handicapping together in Rishi and in Royal Spa that we both really like. I'm going to let you talk about Rishi. I do not have her on top. I have her in my second spot in my handicapping. What do you like about Rishi in this spot? Because she's quote unquote the other Baffert in this spot.
It seems she's the other Baffert, but at least on paper, I think she might be the one that they're intending to try to win this. Because Seismic Beauty is going to fly out of the gate.
Yes.
There's some horses that are going to get in the way. I think Ricci actually probably needs a target. Those races back in January and last year kind of show how this horse rated a little bit, and even got beat by Copian with those tactics. Then gets away from Copian, goes to the lead and runs lights out. So I just think that they're going to try to use Seismic Beauty, or is that the name of the horse, right? Seismic Beauty as kind of the rabbit, because what are you going to do? One of them can't duel each other into submission. So I just think the one is going to be forced to go. Maybe Royal Spa kind of hangs with that one to make things a little interesting, to have Copian and Rishi kind of come late.
I can't get over that Santa Margarita. She looks so darn good in it at Santa Anita, and I'm stuck on it. She looked really good at Del Mar last fall as well. Last end of August, when she broke her maiden there. I think Seismic Beauty is the class here. I do think Rishi is very, very good. It's interesting because I've always thought that Baffert's best older dirt female out west was Cavalieri, but obviously she's not in training right now. And so this is his other group underneath that. And I do think that those two are the class here, but Royal Spa, I love that they're shipping this horse for this race. And what I love about it is this is a horse that was in the Heavenly Cause 3 back at Laurel, right? Was in the Barbara Fritchie for 98 grand, a couple back at Laurel. But really did show her muster last out in the Fleur de Lis. I think is learning a little bit, won the Shawnee before that, ahead of Gingin, ahead of Alpine Princess. And here's what's fascinating to me, Barry, and this is one of the things you always have to watch for when horses ship from different places. The final time on the Santa Margarita at 1 1/8 at Santa Anita was 1:48.1. The final time of the Fleur de Lis at Churchill Downs was 1:48.2. 1/10 of a second different. And it's a 104 buyer out west for Seismic Beauty. And they're running 90s something at Churchill Downs. Okay. So before we get, and look, I have Seismic Beauty on top. Before we get all excited about the 104, I'm looking at real legitimate timed races here. And I do wonder if Royal Spa isn't fast enough to keep up. I think she might be.
Yeah, so I think so too.
Yeah. And I think she can grind this. I think she can grind her way to a win in this one.
Yeah. It's so hard because what you'll see, especially in the racing form with wins like Seismic Beauty has, in the Santa Margarita, where it's inflated. You know that's a higher than normal buyer, especially for this horse. It really hasn't shown the affinity to do that. Did it once, but does it mean they can do it again?
Great question.
And that's where the consistency comes into play. But you can view that Santa Margarita as a perfect true win. That horse didn't get any kind of straw in her path that whole time. Not going to get that optimal circumstance on Saturday, which means Royal Spa can be the fly in the ointment here to get my horse in the winner's circle.
There you go. Another trip inside the mind of Spears. We will close the day with race 11.
You don't want that. Not consistently. I agree. Every once in a while, like, hey,
I'm just the host and the guy who came up with the idea for the show. All right, so race 11 again. We're presented by Amwager. Where are they? Right here. Amwager. amwager.com. Go check them out right now, especially if you are not signed up with them yet. Get that $150 match right now. 100% match up to $150 on your deposit. Get in with our friends at Amwager and Amwager.com. $81,000 on the line. In an optional claimer to close the card, a mile on the turf there for Calabreds. 3 and up. Another one of those $21,000 races here. Barry, as far as the condition book, I love a long shot in here. Love me a long shot in here, Barry. I love one. I love it. Not a boring play. Not Barry. I'm not boring like Barry. How about that? Just 23 hours a day. Sonio Divino. I'm going with Sonio Divino, daughter of Vito Rosso, or son of Vito Rosso, excuse me, the Peter Miller barn. This one broke its maiden last out at Los Al. But what I want everyone to look at is the race before that, which was a maiden special, finishing 5th, but by less than a length on the turf going a mile at Santa Anita. This one is way closer to the level of everyone else in this race than any of the other sort of indicators would tell you, speed figures, etc. Like Winning Patriots in this race at 10-1 beat this horse by a nose in that maiden race. Since then, hasn't run. This one went ahead and won at Los Al by 3.5 lengths, right? And what do we talk about all the time when we talk about that dirt course at Los Alamitos? We talk about it translating well when we get back to turf courses or from turf to that Los Al course. I'm going to take a shot here in the last one. Sonio Divino will be in all of my boxes. And so 15-1. I know you like that one. Don't pretend, Barry. I know you like that one.
Absolutely not.
I know you landed on a different one. By the way, Cardiff Crack. Has anyone, I got to say, like, I love my family and I love horse racing and I love oxygen, things like that. Does anybody love Crack more than Hunter Biden? What a guy, man. He talked it up like it was just, he made it seem like that was
he's a connoisseur. You could tell by the way he was talking about it. Like
he knew it.
He was having flashbacks. Yeah, he was into it. This guy.
I wonder if he's had Crack in Cardiff. Why do you like Cardiff Crack?
This horse's races on the turf going a mile were pretty good. Yep. In recent history, if you go back to the races that this horse had in 2024, the turf races going a mile or longer, they're all competitive in this spot. This horse fits at this level. You can see this horse ran August 3rd, 2024, ran a pretty good race with Ray Gutierrez at 20-1 in a spot just like this one. Fast forward to June 7th, 2025, didn't run a step going down the hill.
Right.
As expected at a way higher level. Drops back in on the dirt at Los Al where there isn't any turf. They probably would have tried the turf there if there was any. Just missed on a non-preferred surface, gets back to the preferred surface and the preferred distance. I'll give this one a shot in a race that really, it looks like nobody really would want to win it.
I went 3, 12, and 9. The 12 horse is on the outside. The only part that I hate is the post position, but I think because of how this one races, Barry, Juan Hernandez is going to have to get out of the gate here. Miles Finch, the 12 horse here, son of Vronsky. And look, when I think of these Vronskys, I think of sprinters, right? So this is going to be a horse that's going to have to get out. But that mile on the turf thing in Southern California, ran at 6 last time, breaks its maiden. Off the bench a little bit here, second in the form cycle. I love everything about this. John Sadler sprints around at 24%, 19% of turf races. His horses go back to back at 19%. I think the 12 sets up really, really well here. Frankly, Barry, if this one were breaking, if they were switching spots and the 3 and the 12 were in different spots, I might be singling the 12 here.
I think I picked the 12 twice on this show, and I am done with that horse for good. Just disappointed. The time I even made a big bet on this horse in February 22nd to be exact, and just didn't do anything. King of Clubs, the horse you picked, actually beat me that day.
Let's go, Louie Rabaut.
And actually, I hit that pick 3. So thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay,
I appreciate it. You don't want to go on the mind of Barry Spears on that day because he was very upset.
No bowling place. No, get out of here. All right. So Barry, you went 4, 9, and 11. We both have the 9 in our handicapping here in Mining District. Hector Barrios getting the call for Doug O'Neill here.
Very logical horse that's on the improve. I'm not so sure about the turf.
Right.
but
That's the question.
definitely fits at this level. Should be better than most of these horses, I think, and that's why I put that one second.
Yeah, I also don't know what to make of the Accelerate babies, right? If they're going to be able to do the
Yeah,
turf thing or not, and I haven't figured that out yet. So, the old Accelerate babies, a 4-year-old gelded son, excuse me, mining district, the 9-horse there. So I went 3, 12, and 9. You went 4, 9, and 11. Make the case for Chrome Flash.
Yeah, this horse is stretching out. I'm not really sure if this horse can stretch out, but the races at this level have been pretty good and looks like a horse on paper that would want more distance. I mean, if you've seen horses on the dirt that like to go longer, usually they run sort of even. They don't really change positions, or at least lengths beaten. So you'll see a bunch of 3s with different numbers next to them,
Right.
let's say. And you see that a lot in this horse's past performances, which to me suggests this horse might appreciate a little bit of a stretch out. So why not give him a chance in a race that to me seems a little bit wide open.
amwager.com, that 100% deposit match right now up to $150 for all new customers out there live in California. Get in with our friends there at Amwager. They would love to have you on the platform there. Well, it's been another 11 races we have spoken about, in fact, including the Clement Hirsch. Good luck with all those wagers this weekend. Who's winning the Whitney?
Who's winning the Whitney? Fierceness. No, just kidding. Sierra Leone. There's a lot of speed in that race. To the hoop. Chad Brown, let's go.
You weren't kidding, actually. Fierceness is going to win that race. I'm Louie Rabaut. He's Barry Spears. Another edition of SoCal Saturdays. We'll see you next week. Thanks to everybody at the Sporting Tribune and, of course, at Amwager. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.